I don't know what to think about this one. We've got our very first interview of Nexus Season 9 main event. There will be 5 others before the winner, Richard. But don't feel so bad about getting eliminated in 1904. But I'm sorry it's such a early interview.
Yeah, it's all good. I think I kind of sealed my own fate when I chose Austria, given the people that were surrounding me, that would be surrounding me at that point. So
Yeah,
it
we will
wasn't
talk
ideal.
about that. And, so, feel free to, this is sort of your chance to say what you want and my chance to sort of ask questions that, you know, we're dying to know. Uh, but man, I'm a little mad at you in the sense that you beat me in semifinal game C. I was like, I could have been eliminated in '04 if I only had the chance.
Yeah,
You let down semifinal game C.
I'm sorry I disappointed you.
It's okay. All right. So your instinct was picking Austria early may have done you in. Here was the power selection order. You got to pick fourth. You
Mm.
had Russia, Germany, Turkey, and Austria available. You picked Austria. You heard, I don't know if you listened to the show, but the theory right away was you and Philip had an earlier good working relationship, and you were happy to see where he landed, and that's why you picked Austria. Is that true or not?
Not really. And I think that kind of general rumor also made it way worse to have picked Austria and made it an even worse decision than it was anyway. Um, so really, when it came to the country selection, I think next time if I get to a final, I would spend more time kind of speaking to everyone in advance and think a bit more about who I wanted to be because I knew I didn't want to be Russia or Turkey. Turkey, obviously, because I didn't want to get stuck in the corner. Russia, I just didn't want to have so many neighbors on the final board. So then I probably should have picked Germany, really. Um, but I think I was slightly worried being in the West with Cedric and Varmint um, initially. Um, and at that point, I did think, well, I know that if I work with Philip as Italy, he is likely to stab me at some point, but at least I would be aware of that. Um, but then probably
Maybe not as
anyone else.
early.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And then, I mean, that was my thoughts beforehand. I hadn't really thought about it enough. And then when I got into the game, it was like, oh yeah, this was definitely a bad choice.
Let's
by
get to know
about
you
by about
personally
oh
a
one.
bit. You're from the UK. I thought you were an Aussie originally, just because we had a game
Mm,
together, and I thought the time difference.
mm.
I just assumed, but yeah, obviously you're from the UK. Tell us about your sort of diplomacy journey. How long you've been playing? Why do you play? How'd you get in this tournament?
Yeah, so it's really interesting actually, because I got into diplomacy like 15 or 20 years ago for like 3 years at a games convention called Manacon in the UK. So I played for like 3 years in a row, just face to face there, and then I just stopped and gave up completely until this November. So about 8 months ago, when I noticed that this group in the UK called UK Diplomacy had started organizing games around London, and they actually formed in June 2024, and they've been trying to increase the amount of people that play diplomacy in the UK. So we're hoping this year in September there'll be a tournament with about 30 people in the UK. And anyone that's kind of interested in joining that can go to diplomacy.co.uk and find out more about it. But so I had basically some history of playing diplomacy in the past, and then I got more into like online diplomacy in the last like year or so. So I wanted to kind of see what it was like being in the final, and kind of I didn't expect to win. I just thought I wanted to get like a good experience of what it's like and learn a lot from the experience, which I think I have. So
Well, I mean, admittedly, it was only through 1904, but I know for a fact that there was a lot more press in this game than I'm sure you've ever faced in any other game before.
yeah, definitely there was a lot of press going on, which made me think maybe I could have picked Russia because there was going to be loads of press anyway. um, yeah.
so so talk to us. I mean, because I even know from our game, I mean, there was a lot of press between me and Dave Roberts, who was Germany. You were France in our game.
Mm.
but I don't think there was a ton of press. This had to have been a lot, and probably from the jump, so to speak. Lots of people messaging you. Tell me what the goals were, what you wanted to do, what your thoughts were, how you handled this initial onslaught.
Mm. Yeah, so there's a lot of options as well. I guess the issue was there wasn't that many options at the start, so we had a discussion about whether there was going to be an air or not, and then in theory we had agreed on an air, but I was slightly nervous that that would lead into a wintergreen, and so I tried to speak to Turkey uh, about it, but I think he basically then kind of took that information and used it to set up an RT because officially we were supposed to be DMZ and Gal, and then both Russia and I moved into it in the spring. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but before we get into the orders, I
Yeah.
just want to
Okay.
know, like, what did you think of everybody? Like, what did you think of Italy? What did you think of Russia? What did you think? Like, tell us how they were as personalities.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Philip is very chatty. Um, Tim made a lot of effort in the beginning to kind of introduce himself and his hobbies and interests. And then Turkey was a lot less chatty. Like there wasn't. We had some conversation, but not that much at all.
Were there any
Um,
time zone struggles?
it wasn't too bad. Um, it was easier to talk to Turkey because we're in similar time zones, but I don't think it had that much of an impact overall, to be honest.
Okay, and your view of the West, did you think right away it would be an EG? Were you not sure what was happening?
I wasn't sure what would happen. It was going to be interesting once Cedric was supported into Belgium by both parties, but it seemed likely that there would be an EG because just France can be so strong if you don't go after them at the beginning, and even as we're seeing in the game, even then it takes a long time to break them.
Okay, so in the East where you're at, you talked about it maybe being an air, but you were a little worried about that. Was it always in your mind going to be, well, not always, but mostly going to be an AI? You know, sort of the devil you know.
Well, when I heard about the air and started thinking about it, I thought, well, that naturally kind of leads into a wintergreen. So then I started thinking, well, maybe there's something we could do about that if I do consider working with Turkey. But it just kind of it didn't seem like after spring I didn't really trust him that much, and it didn't really seem like he was interested ever in potentially working together. Obviously, an AT isn't what you would want,
So
um,
are you
but
saying here this Galicia bounce was not arranged, that you would both agreed to DMZ and then you both moved there?
yeah, we both agreed to DMZ. Yeah, yeah,
What did you
and then we
think
both
Russia
moved.
was going to do?
Well, he was. I think at that point he was bouncing with Turkey and Armenia, right? So that he can move Sev to Bla and Moscow to Sev to get like a strong attack in on Turkey at the beginning.
Ah,
But I was kind of slightly worried about that because I think if Turkey was like very weak from the beginning, then they would make the wintergreen kind of too easy. I mean, but who knows?
so uh, were you always concerned about Philip from the beginning, or did you? I mean, because you did coordinate well for that year and a half or 2 years, but like at least as I could tell, or were things going well between the two of you?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, but I think I had listened to the interviews at that point and the kind of commentary, and heard that he was more of a tempo player. And he'd also said a few things that suggested he kind of didn't want to get stuck in a grind, so he would look for kind of opportunities to grab centers wherever he could. And
Is that what he told you, or is that what he said in the interview?
no, I don't know if that's what he said, but that was the implication
Oh, okay.
of from my side of what was going on. So, but then did I kind of act in a way that then actually dealt with that issue? Probably not, potentially.
All right. So tell us. You're obviously how do you and Russia try and handle this 1901 mutual deception with each other?
Yeah, so I mean, from then on, we just kind of agreed to bounce. But then obviously, Russia supported his army into Romania, and that's obviously very anti-Austria.
Sure, but did he handle it?
So
I'm more like interested in how did he handle it? Were you yelling at each other? I mean, or everything's fine. I mean, you seem like a very low key, relaxed, low blood pressure kind of guy. I don't know about Tim.
yeah, I think it was okay because obviously there was a bounce. I think he would have been much more upset if I had gotten into Galicia and he'd gone with his potential original plan, even if that was the original plan. Who knows?
Did you get any insight why Italy moved to Tyrolia? Did you ask him to go there? Is that what he wanted to do?
So Italy had told everyone he was holding in Venice, and then he moved to Tyrolia. Um, so I mean, I was okay with him being in Tyrolia. It's not. I mean, it's not a terrible position for him to be in for me. I mean, he obviously lied about it, but it's not really that big a deal. So I wasn't too worried about it,
Yeah,
to be
but it does
honest.
speak to some level that there wasn't 100% trust between the two of you. That you wouldn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah. And it did make me wonder, okay, where is he going next? But I mean, that more put pressure on Germany, wondering about Munich. Um,
I agree with that. Did he ask you for Trieste in spring 1901? I know, as we look at the fall, that
hmm.
he took it in the fall, but did he, or autumn, as you may say in England? But in any event, did he? Was this a request that he made in the spring?
Yeah, so he did make the request, and I could deny that request and try and bounce it, but at that point, it seemed likely to me we were against definitely an RT, um, given the way that the press and the moves had gone. So at that point, I'm kind of like, well, there's no option to work with Russia, who's like attacking me continuously. Turkey isn't particularly suggesting any other options, so I'm going to work with the AI then.
No, but my question is a little different. I'm wondering,
Sure.
did he bring it up during spring negotiations
It
to
came up
ask to
in
move to
fall.
Trieste in the spring? Okay, so it didn't come up
No,
originally.
no. Yeah, no. It only came up in the fall when it was more obvious that there was going to be an RT. And so, I mean, to me, I think generally it's quite a good play for an AI against an RT to do this, but
I
perhaps not in a
agree.
final where I don't know if it makes a difference in a final where people are a little bit more center grabby, potentially. But I mean, if you're against an RT, it still makes a lot of sense from my perspective, I think.
Did you extract the concession that he moved to Aegean? Did he offer that as part of this uh, move to
Yeah,
Trieste?
that was part of the deal. Yeah, I mean, there's no way I would let him have Trieste without him moving to Aegean.
And how would you describe your? I mean, were you getting more trust building with him, or was he squirrely? I mean, it seems like there's an RT of some sort. I mean, it seems like you guys had to work together. I'm just trying to get an idea psychologically what's happening.
Yeah, I think I was nervous about letting him into Vienna, um, but I also think it makes sense. So I was kind of very aware of like around this time, spring '01, fall '01. It just kind of seemed, yeah. I mean, the idea of this wintergreen still seemed quite likely to me, um, but I thought I'd just kind of do what I could to make the AI succeed.
Why do you say that it seemed likely? Is it just the vibe you were
Just the
feeling?
press, yeah, it's the vibes from the press that I was getting. Just the way that was working. Yeah, I
Now,
don't want to go into it in
talk
too
to me
much
about the
detail, obviously.
Western personalities. Darcy,
Mm,
uh,
yeah.
uh, you know, obviously there's some friction that
Mm,
will arise here. Uh, Cedric, you probably don't interact so much with Robert, but tell me about those folks and
mm.
what your interactions with them and what you thought of them.
Yeah, so I think to me this like the starting move for Germany was like a bit of a disaster for
The fleet
me.
going to Holland.
Yeah, there's like no chance to bounce Sweden. I mean, it's very pro-Russian. Um, I mean, English moves I wasn't too worried about at this point in time. Obviously, he's far away, and I was kind of obviously hoping that Cedric would do quite well and put pressure on the
Well, what
potentially
about
put
their
pressure on Russia.
personalities?
But
Are they charmers? Are they try to persuade? Like, what's their, you know, you've described Philip a little bit, but I'm curious what you thought of those two.
yes, I mean Cedric's really friendly, very approachable. We had some good conversations during the game. Um, Darcy isn't as forthcoming in his press and communications, but he would message every now and again. And Rob's a really good player as well. So
He is.
yeah, he's defended extremely well in this game.
Okay. Yes. All right. So as we move into the builds for 1901, you build the only thing that you can build, and you get the most friendly build that you can get, I assume, with Italy. And so the go forward plan is what from here?
Yeah. So it makes sense to take Bulgaria before you lose Aegean, but then to a certain extent, then you have this big decision about whether you let Italy go into Serbia, how much you trust him, which I guess I didn't trust him that much, but I just kind of decided that without him moving to Serbia, there was like options for Romania to go to Serbia, and it didn't guarantee keeping Bulgaria. And I guess I didn't think through what would happen in the fall. I knew we could take Bulgaria, but again, when we actually got to the fall, I was like, well, this does not seem like a great position to be in.
Well, yeah, but I'm curious. Did
Yeah.
you know that Warsaw's going to Galicia, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Yeah.
The point of putting Trieste to Serbia is in case Romania maybe goes to Serbia or something like that, or
Yeah, and it makes it possible to hold Bulgaria in the fall as
was there a
well.
deal made now that you would go to Trieste in the fall, or did you make because you do go in the fall? But
Yeah.
was that a deal that was part of this, or we were talking about it endlessly on the podcast about when you made that deal?
Yeah, so I didn't explicitly ask for Trieste back at this point. And I didn't ask for it back at all. To be honest, I just kind of agreed. Well, I mean, if it was possible, I was obviously going to try and get it back. Because I wouldn't want Italy to have an extra build here, or even two builds, and me to still be on 4 centers. But I was
Yeah.
also obviously nervous about bringing up the fact that I wanted Trieste back, because Serbia can just bounce Trieste, and then he keeps the 2 centers for himself.
Did you bring it up after the spring and before the fall?
So I think briefly at the beginning I mentioned it of our conversations, but then I became more nervous that he could stab me, and so I was then focused on telling him that I was going to Galicia, with the idea that he's not going to be too mad if I then take Trieste back and everything's working out okay.
This doesn't sound like a really good partnership.
No, I mean I thought it was like this turn. When it got to the fall, we're actually in this position. I was like, okay, there's like a 70% chance I'm getting stabbed here.
You thought you would. Of course,
Yeah, like 70%. Even the spring, I was like, oh, this is not looking good.
At least he didn't move a Puglia to Venice yet. Of course, he had other plans for it, but
yeah.
Okay. And is this because you thought that the wintergreen was a real thing, or did you think that uh, I I could keep thinking it's an RT, and so that's why I thought Philip's stab was so poor in fall, and clearly Philip did not find himself concerned with that. Here's the stab.
Mm. Yeah, so it definitely looked like there was an RT at this point in time,
Right.
for sure. Obviously, if he talks to Tim, I'm pretty sure that's why I thought there was like a lot of conversation going on between Tim and Philip, like during the start of the game, that made me think that they might work together. And obviously, you got Russia in the Black Sea, so then Turkey's in serious trouble if they do, uh, like move towards a wintergreen. And that's what made me think it was more likely that a stab could happen. Um, but I
Okay.
mean,
If
the
you thought
reason
a
why,
stab could happen, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But obviously, so my choice in the fall was okay. I can take back Serbia and be in Trieste and have 4 centers, but no ally. Or I can take this like, is it like 20-30% chance that he doesn't stab me yet, and we actually maintain a reasonable position against the RT and make some ground. And so I kind of went for the middle ground of let's take Trieste, let's just hold Bulgaria and see what happens. Because I'm talking to Turkey. Turkey's never interested and was never particularly interested in doing anything differently to being in his RT.
You're in Bulgaria. You can't blame Turkey.
I can't blame Turkey at that point. Yeah, yeah. But before that, there were options to do things that enabled you to have some flexibility, and there just wasn't any. Um, there wasn't any options from the moves he did.
So let me break this down. This really is the sort of move here, right? Which
Mm,
is Italy didn't. Italy, as far as Italy knew, you were moving to Galicia.
yeah.
Now, this would have been an amazing stab, right? If 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 you had gone to Galicia,
Mm.
you'd have the two as opposed to one. Do you think, in hindsight, that maybe just telling him that you're going to Trieste would make it less likely that he would try and stab you?
I don't know because if you look at the board here, if he trusts Turkey and bounces Trieste, they take Greece anyway. They bounce me out of Trieste, and I'm down to 2 centers. Like the only reason why he supported into Greece is because he didn't trust Turkey and he thought I wasn't going to Trieste. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe it would have been good to talk about it and say, look, it looks like you could definitely stab me here. Are you sure there's an RT? I mean, obviously, I mentioned things like about the RT at this point, but obviously, he felt like he had enough support from Tim to go for it.
It's a different kind of play, and if I'm curious about it because I don't play this way. I lie, I cheat, I do things that you're not supposed to do, but with my ally, I try to lay as many cards on the table as I can and hash out any disagreements to build trust. But it seems like you just didn't feel an alliance with Philip, or you were hoping for an alliance with Philip or anybody. And man, that is and also you're so relaxed. I don't know how you handle the stress. I probably blow it so many times, just constantly going over things with people. But um, are you like this with everything? Are you always just like really relaxed and chill?
I mean, I think
It's a
it
good way to
sounds
go through
chill out
life.
at the moment, but probably at the time it was quite stressful. Afterwards it's not as stressful now.
Um,
But yeah, I was definitely worried about it, right? And thinking about it, thinking, yeah, what the options are. But it just didn't really feel like I had many options. I mean, sure, I should probably have taken moves that maybe not going into Trieste, but then you kind of let the RT have an advantage. I mean, maybe Serbia, again, don't let Philip into Serbia and let B go somewhere else, like Tyre maybe. But then you have quite a big faff trying to take
Well,
Serbia, maybe.
hindsight is always
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Yeah.
and that's an unfortunate thing in diplomacy when to play it. But the thing that perplexed me on the show now, even is it seems to be a very strong at this point EGR and T sort of.
Mm.
Why the two of you would break up now? It never made sense to me. And did you have an internal explanation for this?
I just felt like Philip wanted center. Well, he kind of told me he didn't want to get bogged down in kind of gradual fighting. Obviously, you've got the army in Silesia from Germany, right? So I think he wanted to shake things up a bit because he could see that, you know, if that army, as it did come down, right, the army from Silesia comes down to Bohemia, and then you've, like you say, you've got the EGRT against FAI, and it's not going to end well. So he felt like he was on the losing side of an AI, and he wanted to try and get out, and maybe Tim offered him that way out.
Why disband the fleet? Is it because you had armies in Galicia and Bohemia and you're worried about Vienna?
Yeah. So I could retreat to Albania just for the purpose of like trying to get revenge on Philip, but that didn't feel like the best play. It felt like if I had still had 3 units in the center, that I had some chance to remain in the game.
So tell us about how you handled this stab. It seems to me that you probably handle stabs pretty well. You don't lash out or get mad. I don't know. Did you?
I kind of expected it, so
Yeah, it's fait accompli.
yeah. I mean, it
So what
was
what did you tell him? What were your discussions? Did he even apologize, or he's like,
yeah,
I
yeah. He definitely apologized.
I
Um,
kind of hate it when people apologize to me after stab. I'm like, you're not really sorry, otherwise you wouldn't have done it.
yeah, I mean, he was probably sorry. I think we talked a bit about Trieste.
Yeah, he thought he had a better stab.
Yeah, he thought he had a better stab. So yeah, probably talked a bit about that. And I didn't think it was a good idea for him to do that, but I can understand. I sort of understood why he did it to some extent, especially if he thinks Russia's on his side.
Did he pitch to you working together from here, or for this one turn? Was it like, we're at war and I'm just going to support myself, or like what was the? Because that's what you do
uh,
when you build in Vienna.
yeah.
You and of course this is a stab of Italy now. He doesn't get any of the gains from the stab, but
Hmm.
like how did Russia deal with you? How did Turkey deal with you? Like what were you pitching yourself to everybody to work with them? Talk to us about what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I think at this point I was pitching, okay, look, let's just take Philip Centers. I'm annoyed at him for stabbing me, so I'll help you out here. I wanted to get Russia out of Galicia, so I said to him, look, I'll support you into Serbia. You just make sure you leave Galicia. And I thought there was, you know, with progress being made by France and Germany in the West, I thought there was an opportunity here that, I mean, to even potentially, I mean, it seems a bit crazy maybe, but to potentially work with Russia and Turkey, because Russia needs to get some units into the north or he's going to get attacked by the EG. And if he keeps focusing on the south, he's not going to have any units to defend when that happens. So I thought there was a possibility that Russia would be willing to do that.
And what was your
Um,
press like with Russia? Were you beginning to bond, or was it always just sort of
I mean, this is I think the
casual?
one turn in the whole game where he didn't attack me, whereas
That's a
every
good.
other
Well,
turn,
you're giving him a dot.
every other turn for the rest of the game, he moved units towards me or attacked some of my
And so you
centers. So,
negotiated this move out of Galicia, which of course he returns to in '04. But
yeah,
um,
yeah. So negotiated that. Thought maybe I can say to him, yeah, I'll attack Italy for you if you just give me some space. Um,
did you think he would work with you over Turkey?
Yeah, it's interesting because he always seemed like, everyone says, oh, we don't want to work with Turkey because there's a chance of them, getting out the corner, and if they do, they're going to be extremely strong at that point. Uh, so I assumed he would be nervous about working with Turkey for too long, and so that could also present an opportunity as well.
Right, but
But,
I mean, it's kind of good news, bad news. Good news, you don't have an army in Galicia. Good news, you're able to divert his army into Serbia, have Italy go down a dot, who, as you say, you're annoyed with. But bad
mm,
news, Black Sea's moving out of Black and going to
mm.
Sevastopol, and he's not attacking Turkey, and maybe he's just
I
going to attack you.
I didn't expect him to attack Turkey at this point. That was more like long term, right? If he moves some units north, he feels more secure because I'm there balancing out Turkey's units in the south, and then maybe Austria and I can with Turkey attack Italy potentially, while Russia focuses on the north where he's about to get attacked by the EG. And that
Well,
was the
I guess my
idea.
point is yeah, I guess my point is by moving out of the Black, he puts less pressure on Turkey. And
Mm,
where's Russia going to grow? Either Budapest or Bulgaria or something like that, and it makes that Bulgarian attack much more difficult. I'm wondering if you thought, well, he's just going to attack me now. How you were pitching plans to him, or were you just
mm.
like doing what he said?
Well, I was like, at this point, I was like, well, I have no allies. It'd be good to try and get him on side. So I was pitching, yeah, why don't you go north? You're going to get attacked by the EG soon. Like
Okay.
from Moscow, right? He's got a build. He builds fleet north coast St. Petersburg. He's straight into Norway. He follows up with the army from Moscow to St. Petersburg. He's got kind of 3 units in the north. France is still alive at that point. Well, he's still alive now, right? But France is still in a better defensive position, so you're kind of diverting units away from France, who can then get stronger. It just, to me, there was a chance that he would do that, and I didn't have any other alternatives, so I thought it was worth a go.
All right. You make, I think, your best play of the game by defending Budapest and not Trieste here. You clearly had something working with Italy after Italy gets stabbed. I mean, did you try and get the band back together again here?
Yeah, I mean, it made a lot of sense. At that point, he was like, "Oh, okay, so there is an RT still, and therefore I was his only ally, only potential ally, right?" There were options here. I can't remember exactly. So there,
I'm curious, did you tell him that you were not defending Trieste?
no, I think I probably told him I was defending Trieste. Or we didn't even talk about it, right? I don't think we even, you know, didn't even mention it. I think I decided to support uh, Budapest there, so that if he did attack Trieste, well, at least I've still got Budapest. Although that's not going to last very long. So,
I failed to ask you this, Richard, and
mm.
I'm committing malpractice, not asking you about it. The German army in Bohemia that goes to Tyrolia, that then eventually goes to Piedmont.
Yeah.
Did you have discussions with Germany about what this was all about, or were you worried that you'd get attacked here? I mean,
I mean, when he built the second army, I was like, oh god, that's not good. And then it moved to Silesia, and I mean, I guess that was really the main option for the army at that point in time.
now he's in
Uh,
Bohemia, but are you even talking to him about it?
yeah, yeah, oh for sure, the whole time,
And what's he
just talking to
saying?
him all along the way. I mean, Silesia, he just said, "Oh yeah, Italy asked me to go here so I could act as like balance of power." Um, I was like, well, at this point, there's an EGR, and he's moving armies slowly south. So I think that could have contributed potentially to Philip's stab, where he kind of knew there was, if that army gets involved in attacking us, that we would be in trouble. But at the same time, from talking to Darcy, it's like, well, do you really want one center in Austria when there's an RT and they have way more units around there? I mean, it's just going to be a loner for as long as they let you have it. So it to me, he said, he wasn't going to attack me with it, and I just, that seemed reasonable to me. I don't think it made sense for him to attack us, especially when he had a nice walk to Piedmont to accomplish.
Did you talk to him about putting him into Venice here, or no? Because after Italy got stabbed, you thought you could work together with Italy.
Yeah, I mean, after Italy got stabbed, I thought I could work together with Italy at that point. I need an ally, even if we're very weak there against an RT.
And did Darcy just say he's going to Piedmont here? Did he tell you that's what he was going to do in the?
He didn't tell us at that point. He told us, yeah, in the fall, he told us he was going to go to Piedmont.
Okay.
And I believed him, so yeah. So I was quite happy to see the army move off to Piedmont.
All right. So we've talked about fall 1903, and he does go to Piedmont, but it's good news, bad news, which is like every diplomacy game. He goes to Piedmont. On the other hand, you get attacked now in Budapest, and you get a Ukrainian army in Galicia. The first question is tactically, if you thought you were working with Italy, was there any consideration of Vienna going to Galicia here just in case he did it, or were you so concerned about the relationship with Russia that you didn't want to mess with it?
Yeah, so it felt like if I had a chance of building a relationship with Russia, that was worth the risk of letting him into Galicia. I didn't expect him to move Moscow down to Ukraine. I really thought he would at least maintain that in the center to move north if he needed to.
As it is, it made him very vulnerable, and it got taken advantage of.
Right. I mean, maybe it was too trusting, and there were other options.
What did you think Italy would be doing here? I mean, did he tell
you
the convoy?
Yeah, the convoy to Tunis. Yeah, I mean,
no, I mean Russia. What did you think Russia would be doing?
I was saying to him, "Why don't you go north?"
That's it.
Basically, yeah.
Support Serbia, go north.
I didn't expect Moscow to actually move to St. Petersburg, but at least to kind of hold around the area, and he could move to Warsaw, and potentially, if he is going to move north, he might as well move north and west at the same time, right? They would put a lot of pressure on the EG.
But what do you want to do if you're in an AI now?
Oh, I wasn't at this point. I was considering before he moved to Galicia. I was saying to them, "Look, I'll attack Philip with you if you want." More like a janissary.
So you're talking with Italy about an AI, but you really aren't in an AI. You're just supporting yourself here in Budapest because you don't think Italy is attacking you. I was just curious if you.
Yeah, I was pretty sure Italy wouldn't attack me at this point.
Right. I guess my question is a little deeper than that, which is, okay, you don't think Italy's attacking you, but can you gain some purchase here by, like, do you want to work with Russia? Do you want to work with Turkey? Do you want to work with Italy? Should you have attacked Serbia? I'm just trying to, in hindsight, do you wish you had done other things, or you think this is the play to make?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, obviously, attacking Russia would have been a good option at this point, because he was just going to, it seems like he was just going to continue his relentless attack. And it could have worked. Yeah, I could have taken Serbia. It would have been in a much better position, for sure.
Yeah, it's difficult. You didn't want to anger him, because I guess what I'm hearing is you knew Italy wouldn't attack you now, but you weren't sure what that would mean in the future.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
And I can't remember. I think at this point we were talking to Turkey. I think there was a conversation going on with Turkey at this point.
Well, he built Fleet Ankara.
Yeah.
That has to be a massive success.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it kind of puts a big dent in the RT, and then this is from Austria, right? Then it like raises the possibility of a wintergreen again. But yeah, that kind of convinced me. Okay, maybe Turkey is willing to move against Russia in Serbia, and at this point, I was like, well, I'm kind of running out of time here. Might as well take that risk of trusting Turkey by attacking Serbia. Hindsight, could have just, I had time right at that point. There's a chance Russia moves to Galicia and surrounds my centers, but
Did Turkey
maybe.
tell you he would support Trieste to
Oh,
Serbia?
yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Right. So then, I mean, in that case, I would have at least taken Serbia, but lost Budapest. But I could have waited a season and just supported myself and just seen if he was trustworthy, maybe, because he hadn't really done anything that seemed trustworthy so far. I guess it depends how much you want to trust his build of Ankh.
Did you know Italy was convoying to Albania?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
know
I
he was
mean,
moving to Tyrolia
yep. Asked him to move to Tyrolia so
to
he can
defend
support
Vienna?
Vienna. Yeah, if Russia moves to Bohemia.
All right.
Germany told me he was moving to. Well, yeah. Anyway,
What did Germany tell you? He's moving to Venice?
he told me he was moving to Bohemia. Russia was
Oh.
moving to Bohemia as well. So
Okay.
interesting, given that then Germany then attacked Russia.
Was this
So,
viewed as a stab by the board of Kiel to Baltic?
I mean, I would say it is, yeah.
Okay, I agree, because ultimately he takes Sweden, and I have no other explanation for it. But I mean, well, the order of Sweden supports Kiel to Baltic is curious here, and so I thought maybe it would be arranged. I mean, I don't know if people thought it was. It turns out not to be arranged, apparently. But
I didn't spot that at the time. It's probably just another joke order, or like he's expecting him to do it, even though he's not going to try and do anything about it. Maybe he thought. Maybe he just didn't. He thought maybe he'll move to Den to Sweden instead, expecting it, and not move to Bal. So he kind of covered himself.
Okay, so we'll go to your demise. Did you expect Italy to attack you in the fall move?
I mean, at this point, I was down to 2 centers, so
You just figured it was over.
yeah. Like, I mean, I could try and move to Venice. All right, that's the only option that. Well, I mean, sure, try and stop Turkey taking Serbia.
But did you ask Italy to support you in Vienna, or did you think it was pointless at that point?
Yeah, I asked him to support me. Yeah, so I was expecting him. Yes, this is technically the second stab from
Right. That's my point.
Completed. Yeah. This completes the wintergreen that he'd been wanting all along, right? But I mean, I was pretty much already dead at this point, so I wasn't really too worried about it. It was a possibility, but what am I gonna do about it? Just again, like, just attack him, hoping I get into Venice somehow. Like, and then I've got 1 center. I mean, it didn't feel like that could lead to any like potential better position. Whereas staying where I was at least felt like I'd potentially have 2 centers and maybe something could happen at that point. Although it's very unlikely.
Yeah, as it turns out, it didn't work out that way. All your units are piffed, which is a sad way to go in 1904. And it's out. So how would you describe your experience overall on your first major top board?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a very valuable experience.
What did you take away from it?
Be careful about choosing Austria, probably. But I think next time I'd want to talk to everybody a bit more before you even go into the country selection. Maybe try and understand a bit more about the playing styles of the different players. Because obviously I played with Philip once, and that was it. So if I'd known or thought about more the fact that he was a tempo player, that would have made me less likely to have chosen Austria. So I think that would have helped. I think I'd be more willing to play Russia in the top board now as well. That could have also been a better choice. And I think, yeah, I'd just like to try and get to another top board again sometime. Um, and see what's possible.
Well, I hope you do. And do you intend to play the next season of either Olympus or Nexus or both?
Yeah, I'm going to play Olympus.
Good.
That's the next one that's coming up, right? We'll go from there.
Couldn't tell you. All right. Is there anything about this game that either I failed to ask or you want to say and didn't get a chance to? I know it's late where you're at, so I'm trying to be respectful of your time.
No, I don't think so. I think we've pretty much gone through everything in detail. So
okay, so I asked this question for people who get eliminated early, and usually the players get it wrong. Who do you think will win this game? You are in it. It's 40% done. Who do you think will win?
Yeah, I was thinking you would ask me this question. So.
Yeah, who's playing the best in your mind here?
There's so many different possibilities still. I mean, feels like Cedric's going to do reasonably well if this continues. It really depends on how the alliances change.
Did you make any personal bonds with people that will carry on beyond this game?
Yeah, I feel like, if you saw them in another tournament now, with most of the players that you've chatted to more, you would kind of feel like you know them a bit better. Just because you talk to them so much over the course of a month. So much.
Well, look, having spoken to you now for nearly 50 minutes, I understand why Dave Roberts selected you over me in semifinal C. You're such a gentleman. You've got a good heart. It didn't work out for you on this game, but hopefully it will work out for you. Adding a few notches on your belt through disappointment and heartbreak will make the eventual triumph more sweet. So thank you for appearing on the show, and thanks for participating. And I hope to see you again in the future on a board or in commentary.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's been good.